talked to myself for about 10 minutes, and that's that's okay because now I'll know what I want to say even better. So this is the first time I've ever even tried this going live thing. So what I was talking about was I was talking about the word bishop, which is in the Greek, it's episkopos, and bishop is actually a Latin word. And I was explaining how in First Timothy 3, when I've even shown this in videos before, from the actual Textus Receptus, to show you that the word office isn't there, the word deacon isn't there, or sorry, the word office of a bishop, the word office isn't there, and in the word office of a deacon, the word office isn't there either. So I was explaining how we get our word skeptic from the part of that word episkopos, which is bishop. We get, if you hear that skopos in the episkopos, remember that's the Greek word for bishop. That's where we get the word skeptic in the English. And I think that's a good word. It's good to have a healthy dose of skepticism, and that what that means whenever we view that in a Christian light is the ability to kind of recognize without absorbing something whether or not it's true. Like, you don't eat of it, right? Like when it says in Job that the ear trieth words like the mouth trieth meat. So when someone's talking and they're not being consistent with what, like, for in this case Christianity, you could also view it in other ways, to be kind of skeptic of them and have some skepticism and be like, what is this person talking about? Is that true? It kind of like a fact check, right? Like, don't just absorb anything anybody's telling you. A great thing to be skeptic about is, for example, the kind of unhealthy Americanism, exceptionalism, and nationalism that a lot of people have, where, for example, they'll say that, like, this is the best country in the world kind of thing, when there actually is other countries that are better in certain light, in certain respects, but people aren't really going to want to hear that because of that myth. And so whenever you talk about Americanism, nationalism, exceptionalism, you're talking about the myth that people are under, and the lies people are living in. And there's many different ways to live those lies. It just takes a little bit of things being out of order, and as reality unfolds and as we grow, like we grow from a seed and we get bigger and we go from being immature to being mature, we have to learn which places we do have a lot of lies that we're still living in this world. So, and that will just help us break out of the myths, break out of these lies. And one way of seeing that is through this idea of episkopos. Now, if you look up where the word comes from, like the word skopos and skope, you'll see that it actually has the idea of visiting, like when they would visit the widows, or when they would visit the people in need. My wife, she actually works at a hospital, and she'll explain how people will come up there and they won't even know who they're looking for. You know, it'll be someone who has gone to their church for 20 or 30 years and now they're dying, right? And they don't even know who it is. Like, so you can kind of see that that myth and that aspect is that, like, you know, you would go to a church and people kind of pretend like they have these relationships which they don't really have. So now we're kind of looking at it with being skeptic, and we're looking at it through this picture of visiting, right? When you visit someone and they you know, so these people who claim to be godly people, who are over these churches or in charge, they claim that they have people's interest in mind and their best interest, and then come to find out they're more involved with like programs, making money, the business aspects of their business that they're running, and the whole thing just kind of falls apart, because we know here at this channel that that's not even what Christianity really is. With the church, there's another word that is twisted: church and bishop and deacon and apostle. You have to watch out for those words that they just kept the Latin or the Greek word there, and they didn't actually translate it so we could see what it says there. So, for example, apostle means sent, or the deacon means a servant, right? So the reason that they put those words there like that, or bishop, which means an overseer, and we've looked at how we get our word skeptic from that. That's what we're explaining, a person who visits someone. So we just see that they put these words there, like the word church. That word is just 1,000 miles from being even close to what should be there. But they put those words there because it kind of creates that ambiguity, and then you go back into living the lie that we're talking about. We would like to escape. So that's why it's so important to understand what a real bishop is. It's not a person who stands up there like Diotrephes, who loves to have the preeminence. It's not a person who is a demagogue, who's this political business tyrant, taking people's money and everything. A bishop is someone who visits, someone who has good judgment, and that's where the term skeptic would come in. Someone who watches over, who's capable of watching over people to try to help preserve them from being taken advantage of further, like the way that this world, and whenever the scripture says world, what in the world does world mean? Like a planet? No, it means like the arrangements of mankind, the different affairs that people have in this world, like errands and things like that, right? Like the people you encounter, like the marketplace, right? So it has the idea of arrangements of mankind. And since Adam fell, he arranged things to himself. Men arrange things to benefit themselves, to help themselves. And that's kind of where politics and business meet each other. And we see that in early America with like J.P. Morgan, Andrew Carnegie, these big important people. If someone ever had a strike or would go against the company, they were in good with the government, who would come in and help them, and they would be the strike breakers, right? Or the people the people striking would try to like get the people who were going to occupy their jobs out of the way, because they're trying to hurt the plant, but the plant would just hire other people to come in and work, right? Rather than try to give people fair wages and stuff like that. And people were even killed in these little battles between business and workers. So anyways, that's the world there. Of course the politicians and the government's going to work together, right? Or the government and the businesses are going to work together, because they're the ones who are making money for each other. That's where you get these concepts like lobbying and patronage, where if you support like some kind of political thing, they'll give your company a job. Like when the city needs to build a new building, if you're an architect and you've helped those candidates along, they're going to help you and help furnish you with the contracts, which is going to give you money in return. It's like quid pro quo, something for something, right? So whenever we're born of God, we're born into a new form of reality where we can recognize these things. We can see the different, sorry about that, someone sent a message, so we can see these different ways that the world manipulates the people, and the way that they control media and get people on board. And we're still talking about the concept of a bishop with that, because a bishop has to be able to inform people and help people and visit people and kind of explain the difference between right and wrong, and things that are hurtful and not helpful, and even, just try to help people out the best you can, you know. So I just wanted to share that. This is the first time I've ever went live, so I thought that it would be interesting, and hopefully I'll do it again soon. I didn't realize that I could. I had never actually tried it, so now I have a little idea of how it works, and I hope y'all enjoyed this. Alright, I'll catch y'all later. See y'all in the next video.